fears. Basically, I have fears. Ah! I saw lightning. Ah! Have been affected financially by at least $100,000. At least $100,000 because of what the building has done. We are very, very stressed. This is Sunny Isles Beach. I live in a very old building here in a condo here that I own. The pool deck has been condemned. This is a poor building here. We don't have the resources that the oceanfront line building residents have. To give you a recap, my unit currently has a $600 a month maintenance. We were hit with a $875 a month assessment for the next 6 months, which they have graciously made to a 6 month, which would come out to $6 something. On top of that, we pay a $161 assessment to a contractor that is off the job, which we are in litigation with the building with. This does not cover the fact that the building has no reserves, so we will get hit with another assessment to cover $3.5 million at least in reserves to cover the building costs. We are also very concerned that the contract, because we do not have a contractor anymore, we are paying $161 a month for years, by the way. The contractor amount was about like $6,500, so we're paying that each month, the $161, for a contractor that has walked off the job or is in litigation. It's this whole thing. Building had a tiff with them, and we lost our contractor, so we are in litigation with this company. The building needed contracting work because we are an old building, and we are up for what's called our 50-year recertification, which we are like 4 or 5 years behind with. So there's always the concern, what if the city does something at that point? And the building is interviewing new contractors. There was a contracting group, I'm not going to say the name of them. They were in the lobby of my building the other day, and there was like a group of 9 of them, like them and all their minions that were there taking notes, and they were like full on licking their chops because they've walked into a situation where they know we need contracting work, they know we're on a time slot where we have to make up for the 50-year recertification, and we're overdue with that. They also know, you know, they've walked off the job, work has started, and they're walking around, they're talking about landscaping, they're talking about redoing the parking lot, they're talking about redesigning the front of the gate here. None of that was in the original amount. They're like licking their chops. We're very worried as to the amount that could go up to. They're also mentioning, let's go on the roof again and see what that looks like. They made some sketchy comment. Oh, it should be prices of a percentage based on each unit's value. It's like, that sounds super sketchy. So again, to recap the amount so you guys can understand the situation, the maintenance of each unit for my unit size was assessed at $600 a month. That's the base maintenance. This rose from last year where it was $390. Before that it was even in the 2s. And so our base maintenance is $600 a month. That amount was too low. So because the insurance was not properly calculated out, they allotted for $1.5 million in insurance for the building. That's why our maintenance was $600. It was actually short by $2.5 million just for this year. Don't forget, insurance for a building is every year. It's not a one-time thing like an assessment. So our maintenance, I calculated out, should have actually been from the start of the year about $1,035 when I did all the calculations. Don't forget, insurance goes up every year. Also, what goes up every year is the cost of the expenses of the building, you know, how much you pay to pay the lovely security guard and all that. It should have actually been around $1,035 a month as the base maintenance. Because of that shortfall that we were assessed at $600 a month, we now were hit with a $875 a month for the next 6 months assessment, which has graciously been made supposedly over 8 months, which would make it around $656. And don't forget, there's a rollover there, so you have 2 months that go into the new year where you will actually have a new maintenance, if that makes sense. So if your base maintenance is back to around $1,035, $1,100, you're actually going to get hit with that. You understand what I'm saying? You're going to get hit with that $656 for an additional 2 months of the new year. So you're going to be paying the new maintenance, whatever it's assessed at, plus the 2 months to make up that rolled over. Again, that doesn't factor in the $161 a month that I'm paying with the contractor. We're very, very fearful with the new contractor what that amount could be. I have wrote an email to the board and the office staff here asking them to tell me what the situation with the building is. How much are we getting assessed? When are we going to know this information? I asked them how much money of the $161 that we were paying to the old contractor was wasted on the other contractor. How much is left? How much of the $161 that we have been paying since the contractor went bye-bye, how much of that is in the building's account? How much are we going to owe so one of the main things I've been asking them, how much money is left? Where is our $161 a month every month going to? Where is that money gone to? How much is left? How much is going to be owed for the new contractor? Then into that other main issue, besides the maintenance, the insurance, the contracting work, we now have an issue with the reserves. So ever since the Surfside building collapse happened, which is actually only a few blocks down that way, because of this DeSantis law, which has dramatically hurt people here, we now have to pay to make up for the reserves of the building. We have not been told a clear answer on what that amount is for our building. We have been told it's somewhere around $3.5 million. There's no explanation as to why we don't have reserves. There's no explanation what is the exact amount that is currently in the reserves. All of this vague information that the building won't share. They claim if you go to the office, they'll show you some paper that shows you the financials of the building that they typed up. And so we have to make up for this $3.5 million. We better head back. It looks like it's going to rain. So $3.5 million. I better start walking back. I don't want to get hit with the rain. $3.5 million in reserves. If that, I calculated that for divided by the unit amounts, which is about $424 for my building, comes out to about a little over $8,000 for my unit. That could be requested in one lump sum. I don't think that will be the case. I think it's going to be probably over 12 months, which is not meaning that the building got a loan. What happened was the building lied to us and told us that they were going to be able to get a line of credit, a loan, to cover the shortfall insurance. Because the building is in such bad shape, in such bad financial shape, they were not able to get a loan to cover the shortfall. The bank doesn't want to give you a loan to cover the fact that you're behind. So that was why we got hit with an assessment all at once, essentially, you know, just divided over months, instead of possibly having it over a couple of years, which would be better, you know, in one way, that you're not having to spend so much each month, but also, you know, everything just keeps building and adding up, because like I said, insurance is an every year thing. It's not a one-time thing like work on a building. So with the reserves, if it's every month for a year, it would come out to, like, again, like over $800 or something like that a month. I'd have to run the calculations again, but it's quite a bit of money. So you're talking about rent money. You're talking about thousands of dollars a month that you're paying each month here to get by, and the building is in terrible shape. The reason, yes, the insurance amounts have been going up all across the state of Florida and other places too, but what happened was you had the insurance carriers, they came here and they saw the building, and they saw that the building is in deplorable shape. They saw the way it looks, they saw the way the halls look, all this stuff that needs to be done, and they said, we're going to assess your insurance real high. So that's neglect because of the building, because they allowed the building to deteriorate, did not take care of maintenance issues way before, you know, as I said, we're 4 or 5 years behind. We are 4 or 5 years behind on the contractor work that should have been done on this building as it is. So because the building got into this neglect, the insurance amount, there's a car coming behind you, is very high, and they're taking advantage of that. And we don't even know how much the insurance could end up getting assessed for next year. And that's an amount that's just going to keep going up and up and up and up. And so we are struggling. We're trying to figure it out. We're trying to figure out, you know, me working, my dad working, my dad, am I going to say Social Security? My dad is Social Security. You know, all these factors have to come into play for us to stay afloat. And you have many people are selling, many people are panic selling. To rent here is astronomical. I've showed in some of this video footage that I have in this video also, price of rent is astronomical. This is the oceanfront line here, which is very expensive. None of these people can explain to you how they make a living. They're not doctors. Most of them are not sports players. Most of them are not celebrities. They're foreign investors from foreign places. And no, that's not me being racist. I'm from Dade County. I'm ethnic myself. No one can explain to you how they make a living. All the money that they buy these units with is wire transferred. This area is historically known as wire transfers, shell companies, all of that. No one can explain to you what they do for a living. So they got their own story there. And, you know, this building here, what? This building here is a rental. And some of the others there are rentals too. And their rent is astronomical. It's for their, I mean, it's anywhere that they can see it. This building here that I'm pointing to, I'm kind of like, there's a big cloud coming, so I don't want the camera to get damaged. This building here is a rental. That's the garage. Then there's an older rental, and then there's another rental there, down there, and then there's a condo there. The newer rental is going for $3,100 a month for a one-bedroom. The older building at the end, which is run down, goes, which is the taller one you're seeing there, goes for about $2,300 a month, and the other one again about $3,100 a month for a one bedroom. That's that one down there. And from what we're reading, there's a lot of safety issues with the building. People are saying that the garage is completely unmanned and that there's homeless in it and that there's a lot of security issues with the building. And yes, you're getting this rent where you're across the street from, you know, those buildings with the ocean, but what they're saying is that the buildings are actually not safe. I think they're getting the idea. You know, we have this beautiful environment. Yes, we're paying for it. Yes, we're on the water here with the peninsula with the boats, but your sanity and your peace of mind also has a price as well, where you don't have to struggle each month and calculate everything out to the dollar and wonder if you could get by. The board of directors of the building, many of them are selling their units. They have the nerve to get into the Zoom chat where people are panicking and asking questions. You need to trust the board. The board knows what's best. I got into chat and I'm like, the board is selling their units. The board is selling their units, and they went crazy. They went so crazy that they closed the chat, signed everyone out, and they're like, goodbye everyone, and they hit close. And now there's another board member, I believe, or a previous board member who has just listed his unit today or yesterday. We've been hurt very badly by this building, by the negligence of the fact that they let things go as long as they did, and that affected things like insurance rates. It affected now the contractor, all of this stuff that has happened, and we are really struggling here. Again, the average person that lives here doesn't have any money. We are simple people working 2-3 jobs to get by. The maintenance staff does not work here, and I'm not saying that from a perspective of entitlement or you're being mean. They do not work. We have a series of employees that work here as maintenance staff. They do not work. They walk around throughout the day and they text on their phone. They wiggle around. They listen to music. They watch music videos on their phone. One of the maintenance workers, he sings and dances in the lobby. They drink coffee. They walk around. They sit in the lobby and they flirt with the management staff. That's what they do. They don't work. It's quite a situation. We're gaslit constantly. Oh, we got a taco restaurant coming to the lobby. This is great. It's like, do you think we give a damn about the taco restaurant when the average person is panic selling their units? We have very simple people here in the lobby the other day. I overheard one of my neighbors. She doesn't live on my floor. She lives on another floor. And she was talking in Spanish, and I overheard her conversation. By the way, guys, I am actually Hispanic, but my Spanish is not the greatest. But I understood enough of the conversation to then bring myself into her conversation and talk to her. And she is someone who bought in this building, how many years ago? 25 years ago. She had a mortgage on her own unit, a small amount. Simple woman, had some simple job, you know, where she worked up the street and the equivalent of a 7-Eleven. Back then, at one time, I think she was even on the board, and things were good then. During that time period, I think our maintenance was $125. $190 a month and no expenses and nothing. The building was beautifully maintained. Everything was taken care of. That was when we had a different management. And when the new management came, it went to hell. And she is in a position now where she doesn't know if she can afford to stay. We're having a very blunt conversation where we basically phrased it like this: how long can you last? How long can you last? We got hit with this $875/6 something a month. How long can you last and last here for? And she said she thinks she could last 2 or 3 months and then she'll have to sell. And unless she's got some other money that I don't know about in savings to last here, I think that she, like so many, are going to be forced to put their units for sale. A lot of us are investigating the prices as you start to go up north in Florida and how it gets a little bit cheaper, where there may be some options. That is a doable and scary, but yet still doable option. The obvious problem with something like that is that there's a storm coming. That's why I'm trying to get this done. I have a job actually that I work part-time. I would be going up to, it's not a great job and it doesn't pay me a lot, but it pays me the equivalent of working part-time retail. That's the amount of money I make. So I've been consistent with that job, and it's a little scary going to a new place knowing that you don't have a job, but I would have some savings left over from the sale, especially if I sold sooner than later and possibly avoid another assessment that could be coming with the contractor. Otherwise, that would have to come out of escrow, and that really scares me, because if in the event that we got hit with some very large amount for the contractor, that amount would have to come out of escrow, meaning that I would be left with much less cash coming out of the sale. Thankfully, my family does not have a mortgage on the apartment, if you were wondering that. But again, after you get done with all the assessments and the amount that you owe to the realtor, you're not coming out with that much. And the units now have been affected financially by at least $100,000. At least $100,000 because of what the building has done. So that affected a huge amount of the quality of what I can even afford if I moved up to the Orlando area. It would be a different standard of living than I'm used to. But yes, the standard of living would be less, but as one of the realtors, I think, that watched my channel had wrote in my comments, what is your state of mind worth? What is your state of mind and your happiness and your stress level worth? That yes, it will be a little bit of a different standard of living than, you know, this, but you will know you have your one little property, and your one little property, as long as you pay the taxes, that's it. Yes, I would have to get a part-time job up there, so that way I'm not dipping into savings a lot. But I guess I say to myself, oh, that's not doable, or I have fears. Basically, I have fears. Ah! I saw lightning. Ah! Oh my God, 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 oh my God. Oh my God, and I saw the flash too. I saw it, I saw the flash. Ah! So, it's good I'm filming. When Nicole went boom. I'm gonna go in here. I actually saw the flash too. Let me just finish it right here, because I don't think lightning can come at an angle. That's probably not true. But I saw the flash. It was like right over there. That building is having a lot of work done. Where you can see right now, those, I don't think it's coming. It's called Arlen House. I don't know if you guys can see it. But back to the point. One of our thought process was sell and then rent and stay here, keep your jobs. But the problem is rent is so high here that it obviously exceeds the amount that is due here. Yes, you remove the worries of what's next at the building, but you would be dipping into your savings. As far as the question of why can't you rent somewhere else cheaper in Miami, there's not that much other places to rent that's cheaper. Plus, my car doesn't have air conditioning. I need to be able to drive to my job. And then you're getting into some pretty bad areas in Miami, which ironically are not that much cheaper. In order to get cheaper, you have to move up to the Orlando area. So there's a concern was to sell, to rent, you know, you're going to be burning through the cash. And then because of this conversation that we had with this woman in the lobby, we came to this idea that there's some other areas that we didn't really think of that are in the Orlando area that are cheaper. So that is where our mindset is at right now. So that's where we're at with this. I wanted to, you know, be able to show you some of the prices to rent. And to rent, in other words, to sell to rent, I have a lot of concerns with, because I don't want to burn through the cash. My mindset is that if we go the sell route, then I feel like we need to put our money into something, whether we ended up having to rent somewhere, whether it's here or up there, probably up there because it's cheaper, for a couple of months. Most of these places want a 6-7 month lease, which is, you know, if it's cheap enough, it'll be okay, and then you have to find a place to live anyhow, you know, to go through closing and everything. But in the long run, my expenses would be cheaper there, and then I just need to get it out of my head that why can't you find a job up there if I was only making a retail amount anyhow. It's not like it was a great job. So that's what's happening right now. We're pretty panicked. We're dealing with this. I appreciate all the feedback and advice you guys are giving me. I know some of you that watch my channel, especially these videos, some of you are realtors or a lot of insight, I know some of you who watch my channel are realtors, and I really appreciate your insight. So if any of you would like to share information on my channel, I would appreciate that. Or feedback or advice. But I also have YouTube channel memberships and Patreon. I post exclusive content on there, you know, B-roll and stuff like that. Again, both YouTube channel memberships and Patreon. That is a great way to support the channel. I also have PayPal. So if you're interested in helping support the channel, it'd be greatly appreciated. And I do offer exclusive content and B-roll on Patreon and YouTube channel memberships. But yes, we are pretty worried. We're taking it day by day, but we also need to take active steps. So that means we can't just ignore the situation forever. So one of the things we're doing is I have spoken to a realtor to try to get some feedback here. This is a realtor that did have some success at this building already in the current situation, and she wants to come by my unit to get an idea. And obviously I don't want her to lowball me, but I don't want her to overprice me either, and then the unit just sits. So I'm starting to be very proactive and starting to remove some furniture. I'm getting ready to do that. So that way the unit is, number one, more showable, and also I have less stuff to deal with in a potential move. Again, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you all, and I appreciate being able to share with you my authentic self and not having to have shame or feel that I need to portray to you me posing with a Lamborghini, because that is not my life. And I appreciate being able to show you my authentic self, and you here to watch it and give advice. But thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you all, and I will see you soon in my next video, and bye.